Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good afternoon. No matter what time it is, I thank you for joining me. Today I'm going to talk about a little bit of what was discussed on Houston City Council meeting on Monday as far as the ride sharing went. There are a lot of valid points to both sides. However, I think that it's time for people to be more aware of exactly, what's going on. Actually, this is just completely my view. So it might differ from yours, you might not agree, and that's completely fine. First and foremost, ride sharing is a business. It's a business for the people. If the people weren't demanding this business, then there would be no cause for an ordinance or rules. And I do believe in rules. I do believe that everything should have its boundaries. However, so far, Lyft hasn't really done anything wrong. I've picked up over 40 people, which yes, I am a driver for Lyft, and every single one of them have had no complaints, obviously, because they're using the software. A little bit about me. I'm a 4-year veteran of the Army. I moved here from St. Croix, served 4 years in the military, and just got back from Savannah, Georgia. So some of the things that were covered, as I was saying, the taxi drivers are making a valid point, and I understand where they're coming from, but basically that their points are just an extension of greed, because they do say that they are more than willing to compete and share the roads, but they're not understanding why it's not working the way they want it to work. I heard 2 or 3 cab company owners saying, hey, I've owned a cab company for 30 years and it's not fair, and you know what? It is fair. We've had taxi cabs for a long time. It's time to be innovative. This is innovation at its finest. We are now evolving to where somebody could get picked up in a matter of minutes versus waiting 20 or 30 minutes for a ride that might not even come. It's really nice because I've been out sometimes at 3 in the morning driving around looking for some Lyft rides, and people have thanked me for being awake at that time because they were stuck in a little bit of trouble, or they just needed to get home. And me personally, I have tried calling cab companies late at night and they're just not available. Maybe that's changed, but that's just my take on it. Now, a point was made for equal fleets. I'll tell you why I don't think equal fleets are fair. It's not fair because if there's 10 drivers from Uber, 10 drivers from Lyft, and 10 drivers from the cab company, and 30 people are requesting Lyft and Uber rides, why is there demand for any cars in the fleet? I do understand that they don't want a lot of drivers on the road taking the cab company's business, but that's just what this is. It's a business. The best business will win. Now, another point that they were trying to make was that cab companies might not exist after if more drivers are on the road, cab companies won't exist. That's not true. In Chicago and every other city that has cab companies, they are still there. Most of them anyways. If you're running a business, and it's a good business, and you're treating your customers very fairly, and you give them a reason to want to ride with you, then they're going to. I've heard many complaints about I'm not going to talk about complaints, I'm just going to talk about compliments that I've received. Just being professional, courteous, offering ride, or not offering, just giving rides, being very nice, asking them how their day was, things that a typical cab driver doesn't do. If they were doing that in the first place, then maybe this wouldn't be a problem now. But that's not the fault of the drivers of the ride-sharing companies. Now, there was a lady in a golden dress that was before a gentleman with a blue shirt. Those two guys made perfect points. And I'm going to go ahead and put the link down on the bottom because I don't want this video to run for too long. Now, the the last thing I'm going to cover here are the comments. Some of the comments that were made were by an investigator. He claimed to try to make Lyft look dirty, or Uber. And basically what they did was they pulled out the app, they looked at what intersection the driver was, knocked on the car, and said, hey, if you don't use Lyft, if you don't use the app, I will pay you cash. What is the difference if I was just sitting on the street in my car and someone were to knock on my door and say, hey, I'll pay you $100 to take me to wherever I want to go? Of course I'm going to agree to it. Now, I understand that the policy outlines may not be set in stone, but you have to understand this is this business started, I believe, in 2009, and it's just catching fire this year. So it's going to take time for all the rules and regulations to build up to itself. I'm pretty sure the cab company didn't just come in from the first day and it was all perfect. It has been perfect for 29 years. 29 years you've had a business. 29 years you had the opportunity to expand and make your company better. Okay, I have a cab company. What can I do to make my cab company better? No, you just hire, and I'm not talking for all of them because I don't use cabs that much. I've just heard from my friends. Mediocre service. I've never been in an enjoyable cab ride. It's always very awkward. I've used 2 in Houston, 1 in Las Vegas in this recent year, and the cab ride in Las Vegas, my wallet was never returned, and my card was charged $900. My cell phone, when I used a cab in Dallas, was never returned. The great thing about Lyft and Uber is you have the name of the person driving you. You know what car they're in. You can easily contact them. If they're still in the area, you can see where they are and request a Lyft. And if not, you can contact Lyft HQ. They will recover whatever you're missing. All right. Now, going back to the public investigator, that's called, what's a good word for it? That's you're just setting someone up. Yes, I will take your $100 to give you a ride to the airport by not using Lyft. In my opinion, if they didn't use Lyft to get a ride anywhere, then it's just basically asking a stranger for a ride for money, which is it seems to me as it is just a completely legal thing. And another gentleman said that we can't compete. Well, sir, if there was no competition, you would not be at that city council meeting. You wouldn't be worried or sweating. Now, at the end of the day, these services aren't for the drivers of the cabs or the ride-sharing companies. They're not for anyone but the people. If you can provide the people a substantial service while providing them with safety and security, I believe that they should be able to operate within the boundaries of good guidelines, just like anything else. Thank you for viewing my video. Currently, I'm up to 35 rides, hoping to get my mustache, and I'm really enjoying working for Lyft. I've met a lot of cool, awesome people. I've networked a lot, and it's actually, since I've been to Houston, it's been my favorite job. Currently, I'm a student majoring in geophysics, and it's nice. It's just a nice way to talk to somebody. It's great. Now, if you have any comments or questions, concerns, complaints, anything, leave them in the comment box below, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. But as for right now, I'm going to go do some lifts. Have a great day.